there, welcome to the Millennial Book Junkie. My name is Monique, and today I'm going to be talking about the book The Man Made of Smoke by Alex North. I read this book with Book Reviews with Becky as a buddy read. We were both reading it the same month, so we're like, let's just do a buddy read, and I'm so excited to talk about it today. This was my first time reading anything by Alex North. I got this book as a book of the month in May, and I was pleasantly surprised with the turnout, how he was writing, and everything that happened in this book. It is a crime thriller. It is not one of Alex North's first books, although I do think that he writes under a different name and he has other books, but I think he only has about 4 books, including this one, under the Alex North name. The Man Made of Smoke follows a criminal profiler named Daniel Garvey who had a traumatic encounter with a serial killer when he was younger. The serial killer was called the Pied Piper, and he used to abduct kids in a camper van. When Daniel was younger, he ran into this serial killer at a rest area, and the experience that he had there traumatized him and scarred his whole family for the rest of his life, including his relationship with his father, who was also a cop at the time, and his name was John Garvey. Now, when Daniel gets older, he's working in a mental health facility, and he gets a call that his dad is missing. They found his dad's car at the edge of a cliff, and they believe he may have committed suicide. So he goes back to his home. He lives on an island, and he goes back to this island where he grew up, and he starts this investigation on his missing father. And as he's investigating what happened to his dad, he stumbles upon some investigation work that his dad was doing on his own into some people that were going missing at the time in present day. And as he starts going through old files, he starts finding connections to the Pied Piper, the serial killer he encountered when he was younger. He also connects with his old childhood friend named Sarah. She was at the rest area with him when he had this traumatic encounter, and he starts kind of opening up these old wounds that he had when he was younger, and eventually he kind of leans on her as he's trying to investigate what happened to his father. The story shifts perspectives between Daniel's perspective and his father, John's perspective, and we also get the perspective of when Daniel was younger and also a little bit of what was going on with the serial killer as he was abducting these other children. Overall, this book, I would say, explores themes of guilt, trauma, shame, and relationships between father and son, and also love that fathers have for their sons. And I think that's what really stood out to me about this book, this relationship between the father and the son, and the lengths that fathers would go to protect their sons, to make sure that their sons were taken care of. In this book, there's kind of a fraught relationship between Daniel, the son, and the father, John Garvey. John Garvey used to be a cop. He's a retired cop now. He doesn't really know what to do with his days now that he's retired, and he's kind of just looking through old cases, seeing if he could solve stuff that was never solved in the past. And his son now is like a criminal profiler, but he has kind of a fraught relationship with his dad because when they were younger, the mom left after the traumatic experience at the rest area. So it was kind of just him and his dad really just wanted to protect his son, but he didn't quite know how to show a lot of that emotion and love that he had for his son. And so he kind of, the way that he talked to his son Daniel would kind of receive it like his dad was disappointed in him, but really his dad just really loved him and just didn't know how to show it. So the relationship between them throughout the book is complex, but you can see that love shine through. You can see kind of how Daniel really loves his dad too, and he wants this relationship with him, and he wants to please him. He wants to please his dad, and like his dad just wants to show his son how much he loves him. And throughout the book, like they're just trying to get this across. And I think that's what I really, really loved, because we see both of their perspectives. And so we see that they're each trying to show each other that they care for them in their own ways, and sometimes it doesn't quite connect, and you're kind of like, they love each other, like you guys just love each other, like just say it. But also this was a thriller too, crime thriller, so it's not sappy, but I think that's what I really liked about this crime thriller, because it had these like really deeper emotional connections, you know, these really deeper meanings. It just had emotional depth, which I really, really like. And it also had some really creepy moments. I mean, this is my first experience with Alex North as a writer, but he really knows how to describe a scene that is creepy and also that kind of startles you. There's a scene where he's describing this camper van that the Pied Piper drives, and the way that he depicts just like the dirt on the camper van, the handprints that are on the camper van, and just the way it looks and the flies and everything. It gives you this really creepy feeling, like you are there. You are in the dark with a flashlight investigating this abandoned camper van with God knows what inside of it. It is very creepy. There's also some really great lines in this book that talk about being seen. It's almost as if the serial killer and Daniel, the son, and John, the father, it's almost like they're all just trying to be seen in one way or another. And it kind of like begs this question of like, does anyone really see us? Does anyone really care about us? And the way that these characters experience that is genuinely sad, and it had me really feeling for these characters. I also thought the pacing was really good. I feel like the mark of a good book is like you don't really know that you're reading. You're so immersed in the story that it is just going and you don't even really know that you're reading. You're just lost in time and lost in the story. And that's how I felt in this one. There's always parts in thrillers and books where it's like can get a little boring, but in this book I was not bored. I was really interested in watching the story unfold and seeing where the investigation was going to go and how things were all going to tie together. That I just really liked his writing in that way. But also I'm a sucker for, like I was saying, like emotional depth. Like that's why I really like Liz Woods and Jennifer McMahon, because the way that they describe their characters is just like I feel for them. And I feel like he didn't go over the top and get into too much backstory or anything like that, but I knew who these characters were, and I knew what they were thinking, and I knew how they were feeling. And I just felt like as the story was unfolding, I was just reading it and I wasn't questioning why he used certain words or why, the story was happening in that way or why certain backstory was coming in at certain times. It was just like so seamless and easy to read. I just loved it so much. And then when the twist came, I was really just like heartbroken. You just feel for these characters. Like I did not see the twist coming at all. And I genuinely love that when that happens in a book because, obviously they always kind of lead you in one way or the other. And then when you find out what really happened, you're just like, oh my God. And it's surprising, but it's also heartbreaking. It's really sad. And you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't realize that was the case. And I literally had to take a beat after I realized what the big drop was on this one, like what the twist was. I was like, oh my God. And I had to think about that for a minute. And I just love it when books make me pause like that. So overall, I really loved this book. I mean, I gave it a 5-star for sure, just because it has all the elements that I love. It has that emotional depth. It's creepy. It's a little scary. It's also like a good pace. It's thrilling. I was satisfied with the twist, satisfied with the ending, and I really felt like I knew the characters. It just had everything that I love in a thriller. And every time I look at this book, I just feel something. And I feel like that's the mark of a really great story. So if you like stories that have all those elements, you will probably like this book. If you like books where they talk about like the psychology of serial killers, you will like this book, because for me, that's kind of how The Silent Patient was. And I feel like this book delivers a lot of the elements of learning about what makes serial killers tick. And I really liked that about this book. And if you like that, you'll probably like this book too. Overall, I loved this book. And I think if you like crime thrillers that are kind of psychological with serial killers, you will like this book. And I also want to shout out Book Reviews with Becky. Thank you so much to Book Reviews with Becky for buddy reading this with me. She also has a review of this book that I'm going to link to down below. Definitely check it out. And if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.